We're joined by Liu Baocheng, the Dean of the Center for International Ethics at the University of International Business and Economics in the city of Beijing. Thank you very much for joining us on the show. Let me start by asking you, how big of a victory is this for Chinese companies when we talk about takeovers in the United States? Because there is some controversy, but this is certainly a victory.
Well, this is definitely a triumph. One is that this is the biggest deal between Chinese companies and US companies, representing the exchange and cooperation between the two largest economies in the world. And on the other, it also shows a significant step that CFIUS is able to approve this deal given the past painful experience of CNOOC and the Trinity and other companies being disproved for acquisition in the United States. And more importantly, I think this is a significant hallmark for Chinese companies stepping overseas in a diversification manner, because most Chinese companies get engaged in overseas operation in the mining industry and raw material supply, but this is more technological intensive, and also it deals with the most important sector that really determines a Chinese CPI, which is the pork industries.
Professor, are you surprised how quickly this deal was actually done? I mean, some Americans have mentioned the word and concern about food safety, and it's been tossed around, but overall there hasn't been much blockage in terms of this deal getting done, and it got done relatively quickly.
Well, yes, there has been a number of comprehensions. One is the worry about the concern from the CFIUS, which has really not really presented a stumbling block so far. And also there were talks about alternative bids, which is not very successful. And so far, I think it is a fair deal, done fairly well. It means that the Shuanghui, although lack of international experience, they are pretty professional in their performance. And the media is also giving a lot of positive signals about this deal. And I think this is a win-win situation, that really it is the mutual benefit that dictates the whole picture.
Liu Baocheng, stay right there. I want to bring in Alan Barber, president of Denver Hainan Corporation. You've been following this very closely as well. Welcome to the discussion. And I'm going to ask you the same question about food safety. It has been brought up before, and the United States has blocked these different acquisitions because of military or sensitive technology. But in the case of food, a lot of Americans are always concerned about food safety, of course. Are you surprised how quickly this deal got done?
I am surprised how quickly it got done. And it's good that CFIUS did approve it. On the food safety issue, that should not be a problem, given that those plants that sell product in the U.S. are regulated by the FDA and others. So there would be no changes in with the ownership.
If food is fair gaming, that opens up a whole new realm of potential acquisitions by the Chinese in the United States. Does this mean, and this question is for either of you gentlemen, I'll let Alan go first, but does it mean more acquisitions in this area in the future?
I think it does. I think there'll be a number of acquisitions in the food industry in the U.S. and China. We have to remember that China has, depending on the estimates, anywhere from 280 to 300 million middle class who are looking for better food products. The U.S. can supply those. Therefore, it's a good deal for both sides.
Liu Baocheng, I mean, does this mean more deals in the future, not just in food, but other industries as well, now that CFIUS has seemed to be on a speedy approval process?
Yeah, definitely. I think there is a great complementary between the two largest economies, and China is in need for better technology and better management skills. And so far, also, the Chinese companies are able to leverage on the international financial market. So they have the quite the capability to step overseas. And if you see the recent performance over the past 5 years, so China's overseas acquisition has been moving by roughly the 50%. Given the world economic recession, this is very aggressive. And also that more and more regulations will be published by the Chinese government to support the overseas acquisition, overseas investment in the form of deregulated the foreign exchange control, in the form of certain subsidies, and more is really in the strategic advice from the academic circles are concentrated to support Chinese overseas to get engaged in the ODI, which is the overseas direct investment programs.
All right, Liu Baocheng, Alan Barber, both of you, thank you very much for joining us on this very important topic.